Ready.
Hello, Renee. How are you doing? How is life?
Maya, I am great. Good morning. You know, there is a nationwide cell phone outage that's impacting all of the cell phone providers. And so this morning, my daughter realizes this when she gets to school, and she texts me in a panic, right? Mom, my phone only says SOS. Did you not pay it? Did you cut me off? I'm like,
I think my daughters would be in a complete shock. In a
she
complete
was
shock.
panicked. Now I'm a little panicked too. The phones still work with Wi-Fi, but they don't. They're saying so anyway. So there's a lot of outage, but yeah. So it's been a weird morning for I think those of us that have this little SOS sign, and it's just bizarre because if you're not on Wi-Fi, nothing's coming through, and you can't dial out, and you can't do anything. But it made me realize the oh my god, almost like the we have such an unhealthy attachment to these little things. It's just
Totally,
not
totally.
good.
There's Lent at the moment.
Mhm.
Those
Uh-huh,
Ash
yes.
Wednesday.
Yep.
So, and during the Lent, you're supposed to make a do some changes in your life that basically improve your health or improve your persona, whatever you kind
Mhm,
of
mhm.
impact you positively. So I have my new resolution for the land, which is I'm not. Oh, Jose Elias,
She's there,
hello, Jose
yeah.
Elias, great to see you. Ah, so great to see you. I see there are more people. So if you want to say hello, because we
Yes,
don't
please.
know who you are until you say hello to us. We just know that there are a couple of people out there watching us. So hey, say hello if you're watching. So anyway, so I made a resolution that I'm gonna kick
Mhm.
my phone out of my bedroom
Good. Yes.
completely.
Good.
It's not allowed. I had to even I have a problem because my charger is in the bedroom, so I had to do something about that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it's difficult. It's difficult
Mhm.
because uh, I used to watch videos sometimes before the sleep, or read something, or check on stuff. Hell, even switch the lights on and off. I
Yeah.
used to do with a phone.
Mhm.
So so it's really strange. So we are really attached. So if you have a phone outage,
Yeah.
but my observation is it's becoming very healthy as well. So I have a story for you as well from yesterday.
Tell me.
Yesterday, my daughter wanted me to help her with her computer, my middle one.
Mhm.
And I came to her, and she typically locks herself in a room, and she doesn't like to go out. And there is a big sign saying like "Don't entry, private, keep off." So I went into her room. I was invited to do some fixes for the computer, and I said, "Well, I fixed that." And I said, "Well, your system is not upgraded, and whatnot. So I'm gonna do all the upgrades as well for you today." So I started the upgrade process, but because there were so many patches that needed to be installed,
It took a long
and
time.
it took a lot of time. And then suddenly, this little rebel, get out of her room and join the rest of the family for watching the video together. And I'm like, ah, nice. So when the computer
Yeah.
is down, you actually socialize with others. Okay.
Yeah.
So I need to do an upgrades on maybe on a bi-weekly basis for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Going forward.
Or have your own outage at home. Oops,
Yeah.
the internet is down.
Whoops.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So
Well,
I'm sorry.
that's
I'm
very
sorry
exciting.
for everyone who is watching us. Only Jose Elias is brave enough to say hello, but there are more people online. I know. I can see you. I don't know who you are, but I can see that you are there. So
We
it's
can
it's
see you.
great to see you, everyone. Hello. I'm Renee. I'm a little bit laid back today, so I'm really sorry, but I strained my back yesterday.
Mm.
Um, I've done some too much. I was showing off in front of my wife, and I have overdone it a little bit. So I need to sit relaxed today while we are talking about how to build the inner circle, right? How to
Yeah.
build the team of your dreams. That's the topic that we wanted to talk about today. And build the teams that deliver on your dreams. And what we have promised was that we are going to talk about, we are not going to talk about the law itself, but we also are planning to give people some tips and some recommendations on the tools that they can use to
Mhm.
actually build the teams of the deliver on the dreams. So let's start maybe with the law itself, the
Mhm.
definition. Okay, so I'm going to go to the definition. The law of inner circle.
You have to make it big, because our
I
audience
need to
can't
make
see
it
it.
big.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to
Yeah.
make it big.
Today is going to be an exciting, not that all of our sessions are great, but today will be exciting because today we're really going to give you, um, for just your time, which is very precious to all of us, some insights into some actual tools that you can apply. Because just like anything else, building your dream team doesn't happen by accident. Um, and you can actually architect it. So let's talk about the inner circle and how you build that. This is one of Maxwell's laws, and it really talks about, that you've always heard, and at least if you're in the US, that your success will never be greater than the 5 people that you surround yourself with, right? Or when I was little, my grandma used to tell me, you watch out who you hang out with, because that's kind of your potential. That's what you will be, right? And so the law of inner circle really talks about that. It talks about how do you work to identify people that really complement you. And of course, I mean, we've talked about this many times. You need to build immense trust, right? These are people that not only do you find strengths and talents that complement your own, but you highly trust these people. You will go to the ends of the earth and back, right? So that
It,
you can be successful. Go ahead.
it's really important. I really, I mentioned that many times, and I will keep on saying that. I think when you are a manager, when you are the boss, and you have a team, you're you are trying to build a puzzle. Okay,
Mhm,
you
mhm,
need to find the missing elements in your puzzle, and you need to add those elements with a very thoughtful way. You need to make sure
mhm,
that make sure that this new element fits in the overall picture, that it complements the picture, that it adds maybe a new dimension or a new capabilities, what name you. So that, I guess, is a one dimension of building the team, and then creating this inner circle of people who trust you, but you also can trust them,
correct.
who represent a certain diversity of opinions, who
Mhm,
complement your weaknesses, also who amplify your strengths sometimes.
mhm,
But the more you can make them visionary, the more you can build a group of people that create a certain synergy. So 2 plus 2 equals 6, okay, or 7, or 9. The better the capabilities of the organizations will be. That's why this kind of the people, the 5 people around you, the 5 people that are around you are super super important.
mhm,
And I would say, even if you have a larger organization, I had situations when I had a larger organization reporting to me, like not only 5 people, but maybe 10, or
mhm,
more than that. Still, naturally, you will see that you will pick those few 4 or 5 people that you more lean on for the advice, for the recommendation, your trusted advisors, like a group of trusted advisors. And I think it's a very important topic to pick the right people, to choose right. And Renee, will share with you, maybe there are some tools that enable that. So it's, yes, you can try to do it. You can try to pick and choose people based on your, I don't know, your feeling, your
Gut.
gut feel.
In your
Your
gut. We talked about the gut. Yes. Hmm.
Yes. Uh, but maybe some from time to time, it's good to also make some assessments and use some tools and some techniques to do it in a more systematic way. So Renee, I'm gonna take us to the next slide,
Yeah. And
and I'll make it even bigger just to make
yeah.
sure that people see that. Yeah.
And I'll walk you through, and I will tell you, this topic can be the topic of the inner circle can be controversial because people may perceive it as you picking or playing favorites, but it really isn't about playing favorites. It's about finding that person that really complements your skill sets, and it's about building a bench of succession. So in some of our different laws that we've covered before, we've talked about trust, we've talked about the gut feeling, and we've talked about building a succession plan. That is the responsible thing to do for the ongoing benefit of the business. And in order to do this effectively, there are tried and true methodologies and tools and assessments. And I'll walk you a little bit through, but that's really at the heart of Clean Canvas Consulting. And
And,
when,
and for those of you
yes,
who just joined us, and didn't watch the previous discussions, Renee, uh, Clean Canvas Consulting, it's a company that was developed and founded by Renee. So
Mhm.
she's basically taking a lot of her knowledge and understanding uh, of the organizational structure and how to build successful organizations. And you can reach out to her for further information and further, kind of a collaboration if you want, right, Renee? A little bit of
Yes,
advertising for you.
yes, let's a little plug, a little shameless plug. Absolutely. And when after almost 30 years, oh my god, that makes me sound so old. But after a very long time in a set of large corporations where there's a lot of dynamics, and honestly, you don't always, very rarely do you get to build your own team from scratch, right? I was very blessed that I was in both situations. Most of the time, I would walk in and inherit an organization and inherit the people there. And in a few occasions, in 2 occasions, I was able to build the team from the ground up. And in both cases, you can use these tools to really help you based on what are the objectives of the organization and the business outcomes that you're trying to get. How do you identify the right people to put in the right places? And it became a passion, and it became something that helped me move from this place of people perceiving that it was favorites, right? And it helped me move from only a gut feel, because sometimes your gut can be wrong, to a more data driven approach.
And the
And
data and the
yeah. Mhm.
data-driven approach gives you one more dimension, because we also spoke, remember, Renee,
Mhm.
about, and for those of you who haven't seen the
Yeah.
Johari window tool, you need to be aware of the fact that there are some blind spots, some unknowns, some areas that you might not be seeing.
Mhm.
Using tools, using external help, using feedback, communicating with others, openly talking about your ideas. And Johari Window was actually a really good tool that we would
Yeah.
recommend for this exercise. You can figure out about things that you don't know. Uh, and in this case, those tools that we are going to talk about are just elements that will help you to maybe uncover some of the dimensions that you didn't look at. Because, I mean, most of people have a gut feel, but this gut feel, it's just a gut feel. There are more options here, right? There's dimensions that you might not have a gut to feel. I don't know if this is an expression in English.
We just made it one. Yeah, but
Okay.
I think it's important for people, particularly because in different industries, you have different types of people and leaders, and you might have some leaders that don't have a high level of intuition around, or a high level, they might be more introverted than extroverted, right? And so they may not naturally identify someone's strengths, or they may make a lot of assumptions or have certain biases. And that's why these assessment tools are so important. And of course, we'll talk about some that you're familiar with, and others that you're not. But before we go there, I want you to look at the categories that are on the top, right? And that is, different categories will tell us different angles of a person's, right? A person's preferences, a person's ability to communicate, to deal with conflict. The first one is behavioral. And in this one, most people are, I would, I don't know about most people, but a lot of people are familiar with DISC. You also probably know 16 types, and you might know that as Myers Briggs or MBTI. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Then you have the cultural aspect, right? And Magic and I talk about this all the time.
No, it's not.
Culture,
We don't talk about this all the time, but
yeah.
believe it, everybody on the that are watching us, Renee made me take all those tests. Okay,
Yes.
so it's not only her gut feel. She knows me inside out now because I just took every possible test that she has in her plethora of in her portfolio of different assessment tools. So and there are things that I also learned, because it's not only for the manager, for the owner of the tool to learn
Hmm.
something from it. I learned quite a few things about myself, and I also learned about things about Renee, because then we compared stuff. But I interrupted you, Renee.
No, no,
Culture,
no, no, no.
culture,
I
culture.
I love that. I love that you're giving the testimonial, because it's very hard for people to, they're like, oh my God, this is, like woo woo magic, or, little voodoo, or whatever, right? But it's not. There's a lot of scientific research behind these. And you saw it, right? It was pretty damn accurate, right?
No, there are many things. Accurate, not accurate. It is like with every feedback, Renee, right? You get a
Mm-hmm.
feedback, and you can either reject it or you can accept it. And when
Mm-hmm.
you accept and when you reject it, well, it's okay. Not every feedback is worth accepting. When you accept it, it's a question: are you going to do something about it or not?
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that it says that I'm really strong on one dimension and not so strong on another dimension, if I don't believe that this other dimension is super important for me, maybe
Right.
I don't need to work for it. Or again, because we are building the puzzle, right? Maybe I need to be aware of my weakness in one area to be able to bring the right elements into organization to complement my lack
Mm-hmm.
of skills, or strengths, or behaviors. Hmm?
Well, and sticking with culture, right? You and I have talked a little bit about this, actually, a lot about this, right? Whereas, there's certain things in Poland that, um, even yesterday, and so we'll reveal a little bit, right? I'm concerned about Magic being so close to an area where there's a lot of conflict. And, there's things that we discuss in terms of culture. Magic's been talking about Lent, and now that's, of course, Poland is a largely Catholic country and population. And I've spoken to Magic this today, or this month is Black History Month. I remember Magic and I having a conversation about, why is Black History Month such a big focus in the US? So there's a lot of cultural dimensions that shape our perception of the world and the people around us. And that comes into the workplace. And that's why it's important for us to really, really develop some good understanding around that, particularly when you inherit a team, but in every occasion. Okay. The other column is strengths. Now, Strengths Finders is probably the Clifton Strengths Finders, very popular. Is someone that something that a lot of people have taken. And again, the beauty of doing these different assessments and different dimensions is, one data point does not make a trend. But as Magic mentioned, I had him take all of the assessments, right? Because the real magic, not, no pun intended, magic, the real magic happens when you start really putting all the pieces of an individual's persona together, right? And then you build a wonderful, strong team. So magic,
And again, I
yes.
think there was it's super important strengths. You might choose to complement your weaknesses, work on your weaknesses, or you might want to amplify your strengths. You might want to be aware of what are your strengths, what some of your strengths are,
Mhm. Mhm.
correct? So
Mhm.
it's a very, very, very important set of tools that you can use.
Yes. And the last one is productivity. Some of us, this one I think is particularly applicable here. Magic and I are in very different time zones. And I would tell him all the time, I swear to God, you don't sleep. Right? But he's always energetic, but his energy rhythms are very different than mine. And it happens to work out that the time zones, what's nighttime for him, and he gets a lot done. And he's very alert and he's very productive. And so that's really what the energy rhythms talk about, and your productivity talks about. And at the end of the call, I'm going to offer a very special surprise. So stick to the end of the call, because I'm going to offer something very, very special. Okay, let's go to the next slide, Magic.
Next slide. Okay, there you go. Energy rhythm.
Yes. And I was just talking about the energy rhythms. This gives you an example of what you get when you take the assessment and why it's important. You look at the team rhythms and you see all the little dots. Those are the pictures and the profiles of all the team members that ideally have taken the test. And this is particularly valuable for people that have a global organization. So Magic and I had the distinct honor of running global teams. And something like this is extremely insightful for a leader, right? When is the best time of day to get the best out of your people? So, Magic, when you ran a global team, what were some of the experiences that you feel you had, and this would have helped you?
Well, first of all, it's it's important to keep in mind that global teams means different time zones. So you
Hmm.
obviously wanna. I always felt that Europe is a little bit privileged because morning for us is the afternoon for the team from Asia, and
Hmm.
evening or afternoon for us is a morning for the US. So
Uh-huh.
I didn't have to, it was like I was in the middle of the day
Sweet
for
spot.
well,
Yeah.
sweet spot of the organization.
Hmm.
But then you need to be aware of the fact that your afternoon, it's an evening in Asia, and organizing conference calls in the evening for the guys over there, sometimes at nights, uh, 11 o'clock, maybe midnight. It's not the time for many people to function properly. Okay, I need to be very
Hmm.
careful with that. At the same time, organizing a call, at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning for the US team because you want to be in the middle of your day, especially people from the West Coast. It's something that you need to keep in mind. And the other thing that I always recommend that people running global teams or working for global teams, you always had to block time of the day according to your rhythm. Okay, my rhythm
Hmm.
happens to be I'm the afternoon evening person rather than a morning person. I just hate waking up in the morning, but I'm super happy to go for a run in the morning, or I'm super happy to go to the gym in the morning. A lot of people like to go to the gym in the afternoon. Okay, so when you build this kind of a picture, it might give you some information about how different team members will react to you scheduling certain time to talk to them or work with them, or you might see where the biggest productivity is. Mm.
And one of the beautiful things is we keep going. Yes, you can use this one on one just for your own insights, but one of the things that we focus on at Clean Canvas is really teams and building healthy and psychologically safe teams. And what happens is you see these the three cards before the theme rhythms, right? The strong starter, the pacer, and the flexible anchor. That tells you the mix and the combination of types of people that you have in your team. When you add all the personalities on the team and all the preferences, you end up with a personality for the team itself. So think about that. If you have three people, the fourth person is the combination of those people, right? And that's why it's always important to understand that when you add a new person to the organization, that changes the chemistry of the team, changes the composition of the team. It's like adding an extra ingredient when you're baking a cake or making a soup, right? It'll change the taste of your food. It's the same thing with teams.
But I just want to make sure, because I think, Renee, it's important. I'm not. I wouldn't argue or recommend necessarily that people make new hires take this. No, people
No, no,
take
no.
this test during the
Mhm.
interview process, right? This is not like I'm gonna now
Correct.
hire some
No,
starter. That's not the story.
correct. No, no,
You just want to
no,
make
no.
sure that you understand the dynamics within the organization a little bit better. It's just a piece of information that will help you to run the team more successfully.
Yes.
It's way more important that the person is a good fit from the from the behaviors or culture perspective to your
Hmm.
organization, or obviously the capabilities and skills and experience is number
Of
one.
course.
That's an
Mhm.
assessment post hiring. It helps you to
Correct.
understand what's going on in your organization. And what is super 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 interesting on this slide, and I don't know if people have noticed that, is that it takes only 2 to 5 minutes. So it's not like
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
not going to take ages, to take this test by each and every team member. It's not going to be hit on your productivity, because you're going to ask people to solve a couple of questions and make some choices, some like solve the puzzle, right? And submit the answers. Yeah,
Yeah,
very useful for
correct.
sure.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Let's look at the other one. The other one is 16 types. Most people know this as Myers Briggs or the MBTI. And again, we're not going to go through each tool. I just wanted to give you a couple of examples. And
Hmm.
this one is very, very interesting. And I'll talk about two things. The first thing is I used to have a team of developers that worked for me, coders, a long time ago. So I had business people on one side and then developers in another one. So both, right? So both the energy rhythms and the personality types are very different. Usually, a person that's more business facing or customer facing tends to be someone that their energy rhythm is during the day or early morning, and they tend to be very extroverted. With people that are more developers or engineers, they generally tend to be more introverted, which also often means that they're most productive during the afternoon and the nighttime, right? And that's how you use both of these equations or both of these data points together. 16 types is really based on Carl Jung's work. Gosh, that was in the 1940s, I believe. And it's been, you know, through a lot of
Well
rigorous
tested,
testing for accuracy.
well tested
Hmm.
over the years,
Yes,
right?
well tested, well tested, well tested.
No, but
And you
what I
see the
like, what I
little
love,
wheel.
yeah, what I
Mhm.
love is
Yes,
this
go.
representation of the data, Renee. It's like when you did show me
Yes.
this for the first time, I was like, my goodness, this is so easy to see. You have a map of your
Hmm.
organization with different people that you can identify one by one. And again, it's not about the individual person that you want to pin down because they're introvert or extrovert, but you then in a one kind of a eye glance, you at
Hmm.
the you see what's going on in your organization. What is the energy? What are the different types of people? And what are maybe the missing blocks that you will have to account for when running the organization?
Yes, absolutely. It also the communication styles, conflict resolution, brainstorming styles, those all of those very necessary skills to have a high functioning, high performing team are essential to 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 the process, and this really gives you that deep insight and understanding. So those are the two that I had, and I have some great testimonials from some customers that have been using this. If you are interested, usually I offer for $4.99. Usually I do 3 tests and 2 consultations. But those of you today that are here, if you send me a direct message through LinkedIn, you will get the three assessments and 2 sessions with me for $99, um, only for today. So make sure you send me a direct message if you're interested. Even if you're watching the replay and you're not watching the live, send me a direct message and say, hey, I want to take the $99 offer for the 3 assessment types and 2 30-minute coaching sessions. Make sure you send me that direct message. If you would rather have the coaching session with Magic, let me know. Magic will also be doing the coaching sessions. Magic and I have been working together. I've been teaching him the ropes on all the different assessment types, and he's a very good student. So you can have actually a mix. You can have 1 session with Magic and 1 session with Renee, and you'll still get the 3 types of test or assessments. They're not tests. Sorry, that was terrible. I should never say test. They're not tests. You don't pass or fail. The assessments. So $99 for the 3 assessments and 2 coaching sessions. Send me or Magic a direct message, and we will make sure that we book you ASAP.
Yes, and again, I took the all of the assessments.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, it doesn't take a lot of time for each and every one of them, and you don't need to take them in one day at the same time.
Correct.
So it's a very easy to use tool. It's a very easy to use system. Sit down, during the break, waiting for the bus on your
Mm-hmm.
underground way to work, or in just in the during the lunch break, and you can do
Mm-hmm.
some of those tests, 5 minutes, 2 3 tests a day, and you're going to go through them. It's good for you personally, but if you want to create an assessment exercise for your entire organization, obviously that is possible as well. And
Correct.
again, get in touch with Renee to get this done. Questions? Are there any questions today?
No
Oh, and there's
questions.
I always forget,
There's a
Renee,
delay.
because there is a delay.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 5, maybe 10 seconds delay
Mm-hmm.
between when we talk and when it's actually visible on LinkedIn. I cannot figure out why they still have this challenge. Okay, and it's not a
In
it's
the
not a
age of
live.
supercomputing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it's not a live session where it's an interaction. It
Yeah.
and I think it's only on LinkedIn. I'm not sure on YouTube. I think it's more uh, aligned and synced up. Uh, between the conversation, and because I see a lot of YouTubers, they kind of talk, and then they have this kind of a natural interaction. We cannot have a natural interaction with the
Mm-hmm.
audience because yeah. I hope that Jose Elias is still there.
Yeah.
I don't know, because he was
Let's
very
see.
active at the very beginning, and then not later on. Maybe he had to leave and he will watch the replay. He always sends thoughtful comments later on, so I want to recognize his engagement. He's always
Mm-hmm.
doing a great job with us, and I'm wondering who else is out there, because I still there's quite a group of people actually watching it. Uh, you just go to comments and just say, in the comments, then I can bring those comments over to the
To the chat,
screen.
to the screen. Mm-hmm.
yes, to the screen, and I can yes, we can answer the questions. Um, correct. And for those of you who are in the channel business, in the SMB business, uh, Renee and I, we are trying to get. There is a great event that is upcoming.
Mm-hmm.
Channel partners by Informa. It's going to be between the 10th and 14th of March in Las Vegas. I'm trying my best to get there. So if you guys are planning to be in Vegas in March, there's an MSP summit as well. MSP
Mm-hmm.
business is growing like crazy, and everybody, all the vendors and all the distributors are investing with the MSPs. So I'm planning to go and see what's going on in the MSP world. Uh, there will be quite a few interesting presentations by Canalis. Jay McBain will be there, and I've seen a couple of titles on the agenda, what he's planning to talk about. I think it's going to be really cool event. Another one that I would recommend to people is the Microsoft is doing a really good event in Munich in a couple of weeks on artificial intelligence. That's
Ooh,
going to be
your
that's going to
favorite
be
topic lately.
my
Yes.
favorite topic. And again, talking about the cultural differences, and like I was trying to get ah great topic. Also, Elias, we can count on you. You're
Yes.
such a great person. uh, AI, yes, I'm excited about it. I mean, for those of you who have watched, go and watch Nvidia results yesterday.
Hmm.
They announced their earnings. 246% year-over-year growth on a
Insane.
multi-billion-dollar company. It's insane. It doesn't happen anymore. So you can
Hmm.
see the power of AI and how much AI is going to drive the growth of the market in the future. I was trying to
How quickly
how
as well.
quickly
Yeah.
I was trying to register for the Copilot Pro.
Ah, yes. But you can't,
It's
right?
not
In Poland?
it's not available in Poland, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm living in the European Union as
Ah,
well,
yes.
and I
Mm-hmm.
still kept my German address and my German account and German credit card. So I used
Mm-hmm.
my German credit card and a German address to register for it,
Very good.
and uh, and I'm giving it a try. I don't have. I just did it yesterday
Yeah.
before straining my back, so um, I didn't have time to test it out. But I
Maybe
will.
ask the AI what exercises you could do to help your back pain.
You know what? I'm not sure. I'm not sure because Małgosia, my wife, has asked ChatGPT recently
Hmm.
some questions, and the answer that she has received were totally those sentences didn't even make any sense. I was so surprised.
Yeah.
It sounded like a really bad translation from English to Polish. A really bad. Like the one that I had a couple of
Yeah,
years
I
ago
remember. Yeah.
in Spain, when I went to Spain,
Yes.
and they only had the menu in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish, so I took a Google Translate. That's many years ago. I took a Google Translate, and when I looked at the translation of what was in the menu, I wasn't sure. It's like the words that didn't exist even. The something that was completely wrong. So I think AI still has a lot of things to do.
To improve.
There's a lot of learning and
Yeah.
improvements that are needed. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
No questions, no comments. Many
No
people
questions,
still
no
watching.
comments. Let's hope that they are. I'm not receiving any DMs, so maybe they don't want the assessments.
They want the
So,
assessments, but there is a delay.
yeah, there's a. Let's go with that one. I like that one better.
Let's go with
Yes.
this one.
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
so
the law of the inner circle is very important, and you don't have to rely just on chance or your gut. You can put data behind it. So please make sure that you are balanced in your approach so that you can get the most out of your organization.
absolutely. thank you for watching today, and we'll see each other next week, same time, Renee, right?
Yes. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Feel better, Magic.
Yes, thank you.